Aloha, Soul Family. Welcome to our end of days, and that's DAZE. As always, or as usual, I should say, raw and unedited. I might burp, cough, have moments of silence, while I'm trying to think of what to say. So just it is what it is, you guys. And so with that said, I'm gonna get right into it. My previous video was talking how the elites and the masses are very much in the same boat, all right, and that have all been enslaved to some degree to our patterns, all right. And as we have said, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Am I right, you guys? Am I right? And that this is not making the two one, okay? Like, there's a big thing. I've been talking about this. The two need to be made one in order to move forward, truly, for all of us, okay? So I want to talk about some stuff which is what we've all been dealing with, all right? And some of it's the trickle down, and it's things that I ended up discovering in early on. And so I was very dissatisfied in society, all right? And it's because I was, different. People could say neurodivergent, whatever. There's lots of labels for it, but it doesn't matter. To some degree, I was just, born more aware for whatever reason, And it is not necessarily a thing of superiority, all right? If anything, I've had plenty of opportunities it gives me more opportunities to end my journey here, all right? On the earth plane, if you understand my meaning. Because depression, from being more aware in a society that is highly unconscious, is very present, all right? And so in many, many different ways, I want to give tribute to all of the conscious aware individuals out there, especially those who were born with it, where you were strong. You were very, very strong, you guys, for surviving and for continuing to live, even despite this heaviness and unconsciousness that we have here. So related to this is a very heavy subject. And there's degrees, like, I'm sorry, it's like I could say this is extremely intense stuff, all right? And I don't necessarily know that anybody's going to view this video except maybe, AI bots and, whoever can handle it, essentially. But this is about trauma-based mind control. All right, this particular video is about what we are overcoming as a collective species and also on an individual basis. So what is trauma-based mind control? All right, essentially what this is, I'm paraphrasing here, all right, but it is creating patterns of perception that will create material compliance, I guess is the best way to put it. And this is an unnatural way of having things go, all right? Truly, what is the real way, when the two are made one, what we see is that the inside is directing, all right? The inside is directing the outside, and that the outside is very much like a feedback mechanism. And so it's in tandem, all right? When they're made one, we see that it's part of an entire system, all right? Just because something is, below or a feedback does not make it worse, all right? Does not make it lesser than, all right? Just like the invisible world, all right? The internal stuff is not better, okay? Like, they need each other, I guess is the easiest way to say it. It is not a duality, you guys. It is a polarity, all right? As above, so below, okay? And so going forward, what trauma-based mind control is a very dangerous way of going about things, where it is attempting to make the material dictate what is going on in the internal, all right? And what's really like this is what creates the duality in many different ways, is that when we attempt to make that the material create the internal, it will then reinforce the internal, which will keep the external. And so it becomes like a feedback loop, which just gets worse and worse and worse, I guess is the best way to say it. And so this is why doing the work, this is why salvation, this is why enlightenment, this is why all of these things are so important, is because this allows us to escape the trauma-based mind control, okay? And not even escape it, all right? It's to transcend it. It's to heal it. There's so many different phrases and ways to go about it, and none of those are absolute statements, all right? This is something that is a process, but there is also an endpoint to this, all right? This is the whole premise with this, all right? It's not just like we're just going to get better and better forever, and there's always more trauma to overcome, and it's just like no, all right? This is not how it goes, okay? In that kind of a system, we're continuing to harm ourselves, and then we're healing that trauma to harm ourselves again. And this is the trauma-based mind control, okay? This is the unconsciousness. This is the unconscious patterns that we have to overcome, all right? And there's a lot of dark stuff that I am not going to talk about here in this particular video, okay? Things that involve horrible harm upon individuals on a mental basis, on an emotional basis, and on a physical basis. And that these have been the standard for the world in many different ways, all right? And if anything, I mean this as much as I can, all right? But true Christianity, the true aspects, those who have been freed, who have seen the truth, who have loved the truth enough, all right, to overcome this trauma-based mind control. They have done their best to help all of us here who are still stuck in that pattern in the form, all right? And that's my intent, is to be one of those individuals who is just like, rather than be stuck in the trauma-based mind control, than reinforce it, that I am an example that we can get beyond it. And so, as I said in my previous video here, this is why I've done a lot of internal work, and I've discovered a lot of things. However, I've hit a glass ceiling. And in order for me to continue to heal, to really get over the trauma-based mind control, I need to express it in the external, all right? I need to work in tandem. I have the two to make one. If I just sit here and meditate and, pretend that everything's getting better, like, it's not going to get better, you guys. Yes, there is a place for meditation, all right? Do not get me wrong or misconstrue my words. This is why I say there is only one absolute. This is it, all right? That's it. That's it right there. There's only one absolute. So yes, meditation is great. Isolation and withdrawing from the external world is wonderful. As an absolute, of course not. All right, just like participating in the world, it's great, it's wonderful. We get to have feedback, we get to see what we're making and experience life in a very vivid and visceral way. And is that all that there is? Of course not, all right? Like, the two need to be made one, all right? I'm just going to keep saying it because it's just very pertinent that I feel like it's at least for me, it's been such a freeing experience knowing this. Otherwise, I'm in self-denial, all right? And that's part of the trauma-based mind control, is an aspect of self-denial. And there's layers to it, you guys. Like, there's layers to it. And so the secret hidden part of the trauma-based mind control is that it's coming from an internal basis, all right? Yes, the material allegedly is trying to dictate the internal, but that's not what's really going on, all right? That's not what's really going on. What's really going on, as I've said before, as above, so below, the internal will dictate the external. And so we are wounded internally. And from that internal wounding, we continue to create wounds in the external world. And this is happening on the masses. This is happening with the so-called elites, and I don't know what to say, that's what I mean when we're all in the same boat, you guys. Like, in many different ways, I think we can all be elites, all right? We're all elite at something. We all have different gifts. We all have different talents in order to give forward. And this is also why we're all just coming from different places, all right? And there is no better than in this particular way. There's just different talents and different gifts that we have. And that when we are living our purpose, that it feels great. That in some ways we could be challenged, but it's a challenge which is fun for us, all right? It's a challenge which we're drawn to, which we're compelled to, all right? And there's comfort in that, and there's a brevity in that, all right? just because I know there's a lot of people out there who would hate to have to talk to people, have to be a politician in the way of just interacting with individuals and then going that way. I'd be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make public speeches. I don't want to do that. There's other individuals who are drawn to that, who want to be like, man, it's a little bit exciting in order to do that, but I love it. I'm really all over that. And that shows that, just like that individual be like, I love making public speeches, but to some degree, geez, I don't know how to build a house. And every time you put a hammer in my hand and some nails, I feel like I'm just hammering my hand to the board, And there's other individuals who are just like, I would never want to do public speaking, but, give me a hammer, give me some nails. Oh man, I'll build you the best house that's possible. And I love it. And that's the beauty of it, you guys. This is what I mean when we overcome the trauma-based mind control. We're no longer trying to fit ourselves inside of boxes that we don't need to fit in. All right, for either side, all right, for any side, because the two are made one. We are one people. We are one populace more than anything else, all right? And so this classism, all right, the racism, all of these things, all right, are BS. They're a bunch of BS, all right? And we got to see beyond it. At the same time, I understand that they exist to a certain degree. Classification exists to a certain degree. And it's about honoring those things while knowing the truth, all right? Honoring the truth of the one absolute. Like this is why I can say certain things, and I don't mean it absolutely. You just got to have context with what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, all right? When I say the local should dictate the local, that's really important, you guys. That's super important. You don't want the people who are really good at speeches to be telling you how to build a house and what's okay to build a house and what's not. You want the house builders to dictate how to build a house and what the right kind of way to build a house is, all right? And at the same time, the people who are really good at public speaking, they're probably going to set the precedent for what it means to be a public speaker, all right? And that the people who are building houses, they shouldn't be saying, well, we can't say that. We can't do that. When the people who are good at public speaking saying, this is why we need to talk about it. This is why we need to public speak about it. If that makes sense. I hope it does. So I know this has kind of been in a roundabout way, but this is part of the situation that I see ourselves in that we are all becoming more conscious. We are all becoming more aware slowly, like God, the universe, source, we are being pushed into a position to become more conscious, to become more aware, because the cycle of unconsciousness is done. All right? There's many different ways to say it, but the cycle of unconsciousness is done. All right? What this means is that, like, the patience for unconsciousness is getting lower and lower and lower, I guess is the best way to say it. And so the prodding of unconsciousness is going to get more intense and more intense and more intense. And it's there and happening so that we can become conscious, so that we can become more aware. All right? And in being more conscious and aware, the poking vanishes, you guys. Like this is when Jesus says in the Bible, the yoke shall be light when you follow me. This is what that means. By being more conscious, by being more aware, is there work to do? Yes, but the yoke is light. All right, it becomes so much easier. The yoke of being unconscious is horrid. All right, it's heavy, and it's going to continue to be heavy and heavier and heavier. And the reason that it's that way is to be like, I'm just going to be kind of point blank here. It's to break you, all right? Just like it's to break me. It's to get to a point where it's just like, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore. And then when we're from that place of I can't take this anymore, then we're willing, all right? Then we were essentially willing to be like, well, what do I need to do then? All right, what needs to happen? And it's to become more conscious. It's to become more aware. And there's many different ways to say it. It's to wake up to ourselves. It's to wake up from the illusion, from the dream of duality. It's to wake up from the dream that, and I mean this, and I mean dream in a bad way, or just like in an illusory way, all right? In a way where we're not really seeing the truth in this context, all right? Because, as I said before, guys, I have a dream, and that can be a good thing, talking about Martin Luther King here. And this feeds into the one absolute, you guys. And so you got to, please, take everything that I say within context, okay? So maybe we'll just leave it at that. In order to overcome the trauma-based mind control, we got to recognize where our patterns are at too, and we got to see that it's the internal which is actually dictating the external. All right, and that when we're having patterns where we're conditioning ourselves, all right, when we're trying to have the external dictate the internal, that's because on an internal basis we're weak. All right, that's because on an internal basis we're saying I don't have the power, all right, to create my reality. And then that internal wound, or reverse that external wound, all right, shows where we are at internally, but then we end up reinforcing that cycle. Like this is what trauma-based mind control essentially is, you guys, and why nobody gets better until we all get better. Okay, this is why the one-eyed man. It's time for the one-eyed man to open both eyes. All right, because by opening both eyes, all right, we got to open both eyes, you guys. You got to open both eyes, all right. I got to open both eyes. By doing that, the two are made one. All right. By closing one eye, no, we're not doing that. We're denying part of ourselves. And by denying part of ourselves, we're just reinforcing the duality, the trauma-based mind control. Okay. And that time has come, you guys. That time has come and gone. Was the best way to say it. Like, there's different stories, different phrases. This is what sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ is, you guys. It's saying we're already free. All right. The capacity for consciousness is here right now. All right. And the time for unconsciousness has came and went. This is what it means. All right. This is what it means to have salvation here available for us. This is what the Holy Spirit is, you guys. It's to accept this. All right. When we're in that place, when we're like, I can't take anymore. Beautiful, wonderful. This is what that means. When I can't take anymore, I'm open to the Holy Spirit. And then I will be guided to a place where I am conscious and creating. All right. And from this level, we need to really, in my opinion, all right, this is just my opinion, my perspective here. We really need to get in touch with the one absolute. All right. This is so important. This is so important because just from everybody, the trauma-based mind control will show where we're at. All right. And it, in a manner of speaking, it's like an algorithm. It's like a routine. It will try to reinforce itself because that's what's been the pattern. All right. But we have the Holy Spirit here. And the Holy Spirit is helping us recognize that and show us that. And it's a process, you guys. It's a process. Like for me as an individual, just to be really vulnerable here, I've been really coming into sites and patterns that are within myself. All right. And it's hard, you guys. It's super freaking hard. All right. It's stuff that I don't even want to really talk about. All right. Because of how personal it is and how vulnerable it is. And I will get around to talking about it because I see that it's necessary. All right. And it's to kind of give permission for other people to talk about it as well. Because the things and the parts of ourselves that we hold, that we are ashamed of, all right, it's when we're in the proper place, in the proper environment, or or the Holy Spirit tells us to, I guess is essentially what it is. We share it. We show it. We show our vulnerability to the world, all right? And guess what will happen, all right? Especially on a platform like the internet, like the world, all right, on a world platform. When I show my vulnerability, there's going to be people who attack me for it. There's going to be people who put me down. There's going to be people who are going to attempt to reinforce that shame, all right? There's also going to be people and individuals who are like, wow, I really needed to hear that. Wow, I feel inspired by this, all right? And then as individuals, we get to choose what we're paying attention to. All right. We get to choose what direction we're going in. And then in doing so, we're also recognizing where other people are coming from too. All right. Those people who are putting you down, who are shaming you, that's what they're doing to themselves. All right. That's what they're choosing to stay in trauma-based mind control. All right. And they're doing that to themselves. Right. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. And as an individual, I can completely disregard their comments. All right, okay, yeah, I see where you're at. Good luck. I hope the best for you, truly. And the other people who are inspiring comments and everything, wonderful. All right, yeah, we're getting better, aren't we? We're doing this together, huh? We're all in the same boat, you guys. So this is what I mean by that. You guys. And so let's let's get together and feel all right. In a good way, guys, in a good way. All right. In a holy, divine, sanctified way. All right. So, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to me get off on this. Go off on this, like ramble about stuff. And it's good to laugh at ourselves, you guys. As I always say, it's raw and edited, and sometimes I probably say things which are unconsciously, funny. I guess is the best way to put it. So, anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm still getting out here. If you like it, give me a like, guys. Give me a like, all right? Give me a super shaka, all right? Whatever that happens to float your boat, okay? And if you want to hear more, please subscribe, all right? I'd love more subscribers. That'd be wonderful, all right? That'd be great. I know I got to get out there more. I got to do more stuff, but I'm making videos just about every day now, maybe multiple videos, all right? And I'm going to try to do my best to make some shorts and get some of my longer material condensed into a way where we can talk about it, in 1 or 2 minutes, all right? Because that seems to be where people's attention span currently is. So I get it, you guys. I get it. I'm not too far off from that as well. So anyway, yes, guys, thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for enjoying this with me. Thanks for allowing this inspiration to come forward, because it's coming through me, you guys. All right, it's totally coming through me. I'm just this individual human being, this who is still on the path of overcoming all the trauma-based mind control. Okay, I'm with you guys. All right. It's the best way to put it. So yeah, guys, yeah. And whether you're the masses, whether you're the elite, whether you're ruling, whether you're serving, however you want to put it, the two made one, you guys. Truly. Let's move forward, okay? Peace out. Love within, and catch you on the flip side.